What up, YouTube Elleix, coming back at you with another StarCraft 2 cast. On the bottom left-hand side of the map, we have our red Zerg player, Fonzy. And on the top right-hand side of the map, we have our blue Terran player, Miro. This is going to be a diamond versus diamond level matchup, so a bit more advanced than we have been seeing on my channel as of late. I did go on a bit of a low league madness kick, so I'm excited to see what these players have in store for us today, and man, it is Sunday. I am extraordinarily caffeinated, and my body is shaking, and we are going to have some fun right now because we're casting some StarCraft 2. Now, taking a look at the Zerg side of the map right here, it does look like he is going to be going for a hatchery first, so no cheese coming out from Fonzy, at least not yet. This doesn't rule out a 2-base all-in, but this kind of tells me that Fonzy may be going for more of a macro play right here, and we do see Miro sending a scout over to the Zerg side of the map. He will be able to spot this and feel relatively safe with the knowledge that he's not getting rushed, at least not just yet. He's like, okay, there's no spawning pool first. This is for sure going to be a hatchery first. So I am safe doing whatever I'm doing, and what he is doing is going to be expanding here with a quick command center, and this is a good call. I like to have an early expansion when I'm playing against Zerg in almost every situation. Even if I'm cheesing, I like to have an expansion against Zerg. So it does look like Miro is going to be going for the command center, followed by 2 barracks right here. So he's going to be going for a bit of a heavier bio opener. It looks like he is going to be walling this off as well, just in case he missed some sort of cheesiness from the Zerg player. Keep in mind, the only thing he scouted was the natural base. He took a look. He's like, all right, I see this hatchery, and I'm going right back home. And we do see what is going to be Fonzy moving some workers to saturate this natural base right here. Now, I don't think that was super necessary. He is almost saturated in the main. So my only concern would have been, okay, well, if I'm getting proxied, all these drones are a little bit vulnerable right now, but we do see some Zerglings running across the map. They are going to get some information here, and they may be able to actually throw down some harassment on this natural base as well, depending on what Miro does. He does have a little bit of an oversaturation in his main base. He could send some SCVs right here, and if he's not careful, could lose some SCVs to this, what is going to be 4 Zergling run by, but we have nothing right here for Miro, and now he does see the Zergling, so he's not going to be sending in SCVs right here until this is a safe location. And right now, this location is hot, and he is not walled off right here in his main base, but he does have what is going to be 3 Marines able to chase this away. But Zerg was able to get some pretty valuable scouting information right here. Did see that there is no factory here just yet, and that it is a 2 barracks opener with a reactor and a tech lab, which this tech lab has a cool skin on it. I don't think I've seen that one before. Anyway, Miro doing an excellent job at keeping these Zerglings away, but even though Fonzy lost a couple Zerglings right here, did see that this is not going to be a mech play, at least not just yet, and with the 2 barracks right here, he can feel pretty safe in assuming this is probably going to be a bit of a heavier bio opener for our blue Terran player right here. And sure enough, we see what is going to be the Baneling nest building for our red Zerg player. Moving some more Zerglings across the map right here. This is a good chunk of Marines, though. Fonzy getting some scouting information, but that was some expensive scouting information. He did see what is going to be a factory right here and may have spotted this reactor here as well, along with the starport building. So Fonzy doing a good job at keeping an eye on his opponent and seeing just what this composition might look like. But at the same time, that was a lot of Zerglings to lose. Taking a look at the resources lost, it's 200 resources lost to 0 in favor of our blue Terran player. So not a crazy amount, but that is almost a full expansion worth of resources lost right here. 100 more resources lost, and that is a hatchery. So All things considered, Miro a bit ahead in this game right here. We do have what is going to be the third base finished for Fonzy and already getting a pretty good saturation right here. But taking a look right here for the Terran player, we do see what is going to be the orbital command finishing up, and I expect landing in the third base location relatively soon. And I was taking a look at these Marines while I was talking, and I love their visors. That blue visor is so cool. It's like flush with their suit. Man, I am fixated on this skin that Miro has for his Terran race. We have a good saturation here on the third base. No harassment just yet, but we see what is going to be a drop. It looks like a double medevac drop right here, but Fonzy with the GOAT Overlord is going to be able to spot this. This is an excellent location for this Overlord right here. And Miro, is he going to drop in the main base or in the third base? He did fly over creep, and I do like this reaction. He's like, okay, I'm over creep. And keep in mind, if you're flying over creep, Zerg can see that. Zerg has sight everywhere that creep is. Good pickup right here. Good pickup right here by Miro, but did lose a medevac's worth of units right there. These Banelings just do so much DPS against the Marines, forcing this drop right here, forcing this drop to retreat. But as I was saying, Zerg can see everywhere that creep exists. So if you're trying to do something sneaky like drop in the main base, but you're flying over a whole base's worth of creep, Zerg is going to know exactly where you're flying, so you may as well drop as soon as you see creep. That's not always the case, that's not always necessary, but it is something to keep in mind, especially if you are in a position right here where you could attack the third base or the main base, and you can always pick up and drop into the main base. Oh, sorry about that. Into the main base if you decide to pick up from the third base. So we do have a pretty big engagement here, it looks like. This is going to be a good surround of Zerglings by Fonzy right here. The medevac's doing a great job at healing this up, and they're finally removing this Overlord right here. So that was a great pickup by Miro as well. That Overlord able to spot any sort of harassment coming from the middle, the kind of upper middle of the map by Miro. This Overlord would be able to spot anything going on, including the medevacs, as we saw earlier in the game. So I'm glad for Miro that he was able to pick up that Overlord, because that Overlord would cost him a lot of precious mysteriousness. Anyway, it does look like we have what is going to be a wall right here. I like this. So Miro is going to be walling off the right-hand side of his third base. This will prevent Zergling run-bys from the right-hand side and Baneling run-bys. The only thing he has to be cognizant of is to have pretty quick reaction time, because if we have some Banelings running in here and you pile up all your SCVs into this corner right here, all those SCVs are gone. They are melted. So just something to consider right here, and it does look like, I actually didn't notice this, but it makes sense. The Zerglings would be able to run through this corner right here, so one extra supply depot, if you really want to make this thing airtight, would be necessary right here. He would need one more supply depot, but not super important just yet, but something to keep in mind. We do see what is going to be a decent amount of Zergling Baneling mixed in with some Hydras right here as well, and it looks like Miro spotting this by accident. He was moving his Marines here, does see that this is going to be a 5th base attempt by the Zerg player. And taking a look at our upgrades right here is going to be 1-1 versus no upgrades, no attack or armor upgrades for the Zerg player just yet. But taking a look at the production tab right here, we do see 1-1 being researched for, oh, actually no, just one attack being researched for our Zerg player. But we also see what is going to be a greater Spires, so we might actually see Broodlords in this game. And this is still anybody's game. We're almost 10 minutes in. This is turning out to be a crazy, crazy macro-intensive game. No cheese or all-ins to speak of. We got a pretty big pickup right here by the mines. And I think Fonzy may be overextending himself slightly here. Great split. Great split by Miro right here, keeping a lot of his units alive and taking care of most of those banelings. That Marine, the hero Marine, what a brave soldier. Taking out that baneling just before he could have died. This Marine, we'll call him Hans. Hans the Marine right here with 1 kill. I'll keep him selected for now just so we know he'll die. Or when he'll die, if he does die. Man, that was a pessimistic statement. Hans isn't gonna die. Hans is gonna survive this entire game, man. And we have what is going to be the reveal of corruptors right here. So Miro does spot this. He does see that corruptors are on the map. That entire medevac full of Marines dying. There's Hans right here in the front line. My guy Hans, you gotta run away, bro. He's the one with the slow yellow circle right here with 2 kills under his belt. He's still a recruit. Oh my god. Hans is in great danger right here. He's in the front line, and he died to the baneling. Hans, our hero Marine, dying to the baneling shot. The rest of the army dying behind him to this Zerg army. I am heartbroken. Oh no. Anyway, we have to move on. As with anything in life, the show goes on. We do have what is going to be a very sneaky Widow Mine right here, but it does end up going down. That was a good attempt by Miro, though. Man, what a crazy engagement. I'm gonna have to name units more often because I had a much bigger emotional investment in that engagement than I normally would have. Anyway, as I was saying, and as I was predicting, we have our first Broodlord out, so we are going to be seeing Broodlords on the map right here, and we see what is going to be, I think, 3-3 researching for Terran Bio right now. He is on 2-2 right here, and we see what is going to be ground range upgrades and melee attack upgrades for the Zerg players. So, ranged attack upgrades and melee upgrades, excuse me. Taking a look at the production tab right here, we see Ghosts on the way as well with Cloak behind this. So I wonder if Miro's going to be going for nukes. I would not be mad at that. We do have what is going to be, I want to say, almost a critical mass of just Zerg madness right here. I like Zerg's unit diversity right here, but his 5th base is going to go down. This is a huge engagement right here, with the siege tanks backing this up. Oh, looks like there was a little bit of a pause. Miro had some sort of alarm going off, had to check his IRL responsibilities, but the game is going on. This is a good amount of lurkers, though. This does force Miro to retreat just a little bit, but what I would do in Fonzy's situation right here is go back to the support of my lurkers, but Fonzy getting a pretty big hit right here with the banelings, but overextending himself just a little bit, leaving his lurkers behind. You want to treat lurkers like siege tanks. You don't want to leave them behind. You want to stay within the range of the lurkers for that DPS support. So, excuse me. That was a little bit of an overextension there by Fonzy, I think. But Miro doing a great job at sending his units on opposite sides of the map right here, making sure Zerg can't get too comfortable right here. Taking a look at the army supply, it's 170 army supply to 140 in favor of the Terran players. So that is pretty unusual. That is telling me that Fonzy could be macroing up just a little bit better. And taking a look at the resources being banked, it's 2,000 minerals to 2,000 gas in Fonzy's pocket right now. So usually around this time, you see Zerg in a position where they can just keep re-macroing to max supply. And that makes late game Zerg quite annoying to play against. Miro right here, getting his army all consolidated, mixing up some liberators here as well. Taking a look at the upgrades, I think 3-3 is finished. So 3-3 upgrades for the Terran Bio right here. We do have what is going to be mech armor upgrades here as well. 2-2 finished for, or sorry, it looks like 2-1 finished for the Zerg player. We have Carapace level 1, and we have ranged attack upgrades level 2 and melee attack upgrades level 2. And sky attack upgrades level 1. So, Zerg doing a great job at making sure he has his upgrades all sorted, especially for the diverse unit composition he has. Forcing the cancel on what is going to be the 6th base here for the Zerg player. And Miro moving in, taking out a lot of Zerg stuff right here. Taking out, I think that was 2 queens actually, and forcing the cancel right here, and then moving back and losing virtually nothing. The Zerg army is preparing for an attack in the next door base right here. He's like, the Terran army was right next door, and we are going to make sure that they cannot attack what is going to be, I think this is the 4th base location. The 5th base is the one on the upper left-hand side right here. And we see what is going to be more Broodlord cocoons. So, Zerg going for the Broodlords, but I'm not sure, based on the army composition of the Terran player, if that's something that Fonzy should really go, because there's some pretty good anti-air right here. Great pickup by Fonzy as well, catching a lurker, a lone lurker in the middle of the map. That poor lurker forgotten by the rest of the Zerg brood. And we have what is going to be a planetary fortress right here, and I think this is going to be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th base for our Terran player. And taking a look at the middle of the map, actually, we have what is going to be planetary fortresses just chilling, and they do so many DPS, so much DPS, so many DPS. Man, so much DPS. Excuse my grammar. Pretty big pickup here for the Zerg player, though. That was a lot of Terran units that went down right here, and we have what is going to be the Broodlords, but 2 Broodlords against this. May be able to actually pick up some tanks, but we have the snipes on these ghosts right here, able to take out one of the Broodlords. The 2nd Broodlord dying in gruesome fashion right here. This is a pretty crazy engagement. I do think Fonzy way overextended in the Corruptor count right here. These Corruptors are only really anti-air. Typically, the only time you see this many Corruptors is if the opponent is going for capital ships like battle cruisers or carriers. That's when Corruptors really shine. But right now, these Corruptors are just taking up resources and army supply. And I do like that Fonzy is trying to go for the Broodlord play, but keeping these Corruptors as they are right now may not be the best call, because there's really not a lot of utility for them. We have lurkers here as well. We do have what is going to be Zerglings. I would like to see, honestly, more Banelings. I do know I talk about how Banelings are not the most cost-effective unit because they cost larva, they cost Zerglings, and then once they do damage, they cease to exist. So, not the most cost-effective unit, but based on the composition that we're seeing here, I think they would be able to soften up a lot of this Terran army right here. Fonzy able to get in to the Terran base briefly, but these planetary fortresses spotting that and able to destroy those changelings. Miro, like, I did not move Marines up into the middle of my base in the opposite direction that I'm currently moving. I didn't do that. Able to spot that, so good eye by Miro. Pretty big engagement right here. Looks like Fonzy is going to try and possibly flank this. I would not run up to the front because we have what is going to be Liberator support right here. We have sieged up Liberators, but the Terran army is unsieging and may get caught off guard right here. The tank's not able to siege up in time. The Liberators going down right here. But we have what is going to be a really easily well fortified positioning right here This was just too much surface area for the Zerglings to really do enough damage. So, a good amount of Miro's army does survive, but there's not a lot of anti-air left, so we have what is going to be Broodlords chasing this army away, but there's not a lot of anti-air for the Zerg player either, so honestly, this Viking right here could have done some serious damage, taking out 3 Broodlords. That would have been a huge pickup for Miro, and we have what is going to be Fonzy with the run-by right here, but seeing that this is a planetary fortress and immediately retreating like, I'm not going to bother with that. It does look like the total supply is relatively even right here. Taking a look at the upgrades, we do see what is going to be 3-1 upgrade for melee and 2-1 upgrade for ground range. So Fonzy could work on getting a little bit more of the upgrades right here, leaving some of these Broodlords exposed. That's a good pickup by Miro as well. Fonzy does force the lift on this command center right here, and taking a look at the mini-map, we have bases everywhere. Does look like Miro is trying to look for a good place to engage right here. This is 1 lurker though. Miro noticing this, he did back off just a little bit. I think he was scared that there's possibly more lurkers in this location, but notice that there's only 1 lurker, able to scan it and pick it up. Miro able to land what is going to be, what I don't even know what command center this is, and we have what is going to be a Nydus worm right here. These these changelings able to spot this. This Marauder might actually be able to cancel this though. Is able to take it out, but 1 lurker actually is able to get out of there. And we have what is going to be a big engagement down here as well, but Zerg losing most of his army in that engagement, and I think this Nydus worm is actually going to pop right here. Great reaction by Miro, but oh my god, I did not expect this. I did not expect this to go down this late in the game. This forces Miro to do a big retreat right here. These hero ghosts though, there is no detection for the Zerg player, and this I think saved Miro's main base right here. Was those cloaked ghosts able to take out that Nydus worm, the changeling spotted Nydus worm. That is crazy. The changeling giving sight to the main base of the Terran player and able to call down a couple Nydus worms. That was crazy. We have a few tanks right here as well moving. They are a little bit exposed though. A few Zerglings, and by a few I mean a handful of Zerglings, would be able to get the surround on this. But I think these tanks were trying to go somewhere that they were not allowed to go, that they could literally not fit, just based on the movement of how they were going about this and getting stuck in this corner right here. It looks like they may have been trying to get to the main base for a second. This is a good amount of lurkers right here though. I think cloaking these ghosts would be pretty big. There's not really any detection right here, and we have what is going to be a nuke being called down on what I think is going to be the 6th base for the Zerg player. And this nuke is going to finish. Are these drones able to run away? All the drones go down right here. That was a crazy pickup. Taking a look at the workers killed, 41 workers killed this entire game in that engagement. That was probably at least 13 or 14 workers. This base getting entirely cleaned up. That was a goat nuke if I've ever seen one. Man, I have a few thumbnails. I have some thumbnail options on this game right here. This game has been crazy. What a banger. Miro moving out to the middle of the map. I think he's out for blood. I think that nuke gave him some confidence right here. He's like, okay, it's now or never. I think I'm able to win this game now after picking up that base. Fonzy throwing out the GG, giving the victory to Miro, what a crazy wild game. This was one of the crazier macro games I think we've seen on my channel so far. That Nydus worm in the main base was crazy, and we see what was going to be a battle cruiser follow-up. So crazy, wild, diamond level game. If you guys enjoyed what you saw, please consider shooting me a like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you want me to cast any of your own games, I will leave my email in the description below. And I'll see you guys on the next one.